Welcome to Viewlittle, week 12. My name is Frank.
My name is Finn.
But you already know this.
Nobody told me there'd be a dragon!
Then let's address the dragon in the room.
Dragon in the room is Dolittle 2020.
Yeah. And audiobooks in a way.
I suppose so. It's come to our attention that many of you out there have not seen this movie.
Yeah, everyone tells me, they're like, yeah, now we don't have to watch it. Well, now you have to listen to it.
So what we're going to do, since we've watched it now 12 weeks in a row, to the best of our ability, we're going to recreate chronologically Dolittle for you.
Right.
From memory. We have no notes. We're just doing this. This is just off of the dome right now.
Sorry about this.
And sorry about that. Do you want to start us off?
Okay.
Dolittle 2020 as remembered by Frank and Finn. It opens.
That's the song.
We see animation, 2D, 3D animation. And we see Dolittle in a room with a fox and a dog.
There's the monologue with...
The monologue with Polly the parrot. And she says,
There
once was a peculiar doctor who could talk to animals.
who had a unique ability.
To talk to animals.
And he's inside of a hippo at this point.
He's checking out his teeth. The hippo sneezes, and he's got snot flying out of his mouth. And then Polly continues, and she says,
What does she... I don't really know them. All I know is that he's like... she introduces him to Lily.
Right. And she talks about how they went on all kinds of adventures, and they accumulated all kinds of creatures. And they helped them with their problems.
On their many adventures, they accumulated many creatures.
They freed them from poachers. They gave them warmth. They led them through deserts. You see all of these things play out in this animation.
Ate them when they were hungry.
No.
Sorry. And then there's elephants and British people playing the horns.
Right, because he was even summoned by the Queen herself to come and heal her dog.
Who has a puppy, yes, that we never see again.
But, yeah, well, that was 7 years ago, so.
Yeah.
Poor little guy. So he even is called upon by the Queen. It's established right in the opening animation. The Queen knows him and grants him what? A sanctuary for animals.
And that's when the
gates open.
The elephants play the British people playing the horns.
Right.
And then, but bad things happen too.
But everything was not as it seemed. For one day, for all of them were deceived. And Lily, she tells Dolittle he must remain at the house with the animals that the Queen gave them.
Right. While she casts the ring into the fire.
Well, she goes on this adventure. So she leaves with Polly
and
on
then
a boat.
There's a scene with Lily's eyes being really weird and her face being weird. And then
it's raining and she's crying.
The boat explodes.
The boat explodes in a cascade of fire and water.
Yeah.
And Polly, just before the boat is crushed beneath the waves, flies off with the ring in her mouth. And she flies back to Dolittle, and she delivers this ring
and then
into his hand.
For a moment, brief CG takes over her face, and she goes, "It's mine!"
And some things that should not have been forgotten were lost. This is when the time jump to 7 years later happens, and Polly says, "Until one day, a most peculiar creature came upon it. One thing happened that the ring did not expect.
A hobbit!
A hobbit!" And that's when we see Stubbins with Arnold Stubbins and Arnold Stubbins Jr. in live action entering the forest.
Okay, quick aside, because this bothered us at the beginning of the movie. Stubbins is his nephew because he is the nephew of...
Yes. So Stubbins' sister.
Stubbins'
Beth
wife.
And Stubbins.
And for some reason, Stubbins goes by Stubbins, even though that can't be his last name.
Their last names would not be Stubbins unless, in this society, the female last in Victorian
Right.
era. It's like a switch, and the wife keeps the last
Yeah,
name.
because they were all queens back then.
Unless they're all of the peasants' last name is Stubbins. It's not so much a name as it is like a signifier of these are the Stubbins class.
All right.
Anyway, Stubbins. The Stubbins trio, they enter the forest.
This way, me scattered squirrel.
They're hunting. They're hunters, you see, they hunt. And Stubbins is looking all around the forest because he doesn't really care about hunting. He's daydreaming.
This way, me scattered squirrel.
What does he see when he's daydreaming?
Oh,
He sees a squirrel up in the tree, and the squirrel's reaching for an acorn, dangling out on the edge of it. And all of a sudden, the acorn falls because he accidentally knocks it, and then the squirrel goes and shakes his fist.
Yeah, and dabs.
And then that's whenever Arnold Stubbins says,
This way, me scattered squirrel.
and he points Stubbins' face forward, and then he says,
Right.
Junior flushes him, you shoot him.
Right. Good plan, Dad.
That was Junior. He's telling his dad it was a good plan. And Junior,
then he scurries,
Junior scurries off.
on all fours. He kind of gallops away.
And Arnold Stubbins Sr. is helping Stubbins position the gun to get ready to shoot this rifle.
Duck.
Is it a shotgun?
It's a shotgun.
Okay, so he's positioning this shotgun. He's preparing to shoot this off.
Duck.
That's when Stubbins Jr. scares them out, as you just heard in this audio play. The duck flies overhead.
Shoot. Uncle, I can't
shoot. I can't do it. No.
Ah!
Oh wait, he hit something this time. Oh, sorry. It's you can't keep missing on purpose. Because Stubbins closes his eyes.
He hit something this time.
And Stubbins shoots the squirrel, the very squirrel we saw shaking his fist in rage at the acorn falling to the floor.
We have to help him.
Can't leave an animal suffering, not in our ever. Handing Stubbins a knife.
He's a very peculiar boy. As Arnold Stubbins stomps off with his younger Stubbins.
Arnold Stubbins Jr. And Stubbins is sitting there holding this knife, looking at this squirrel that's been shot.
He's contemplating what to do with the knife. He's looking all around.
Should he plunge it into the heart of this animal?
Or into his own?
And that's whenever he looks up into the tree and he sees a parrot. None other than Polly.
Follow
Polly! Polly, who realizes this boy doesn't want to kill this animal. He's a good human. He doesn't want to harm creatures. And so she leads him through the forest.
We transition. That was the first cutscene of the game. We transition the actual gameplay. It's a top-down shot, aerial shot. Imagine a Flash game where you only see the legs of
Imagine
a character.
coolmathgames.com. That's what it is. And
Are you
wander through
ready
the
for a
forest.
point-and-click adventure of a lifetime?
And they come up to the very gate that was introduced to us in the animated sequence of Doolittle's Manor.
It does a slow zoom in on the gate. He reads it, and it says,
Dolittle Manor, John and Lily Dolittle. Walk-ins, hop-ins, fly-ins accepted.
Drive-bys.
All creatures welcome. We treat all creatures.
Yeah. And then he reads it, and Polly goes, "Nuh-uh.
Follow Polly.
Follow Polly," and leads him into a hole in the wall that is just a couple feet away. She could have just let him there.
Secret entrance, she says. And she leads him into the walls of this room, and then the music swells up.
And we then cut to there being a lake. I was going off of the Mines of Moria.
Oh, you were going to do the gate entrance.
Yeah. And speak.
This isn't a mine, it's a tomb.
Speak, friend, and enter.
Follow Polly. Secret entrance. What's the Elvish word for friend?
And then
what's the Scouse word for friend? Bloke, mate. It's a riddle.
Stubbins goes through the wall, and on the other side, there are these brontosaurs.
Brontosauruses, giant butterflies.
Dum, dum,
A vast. We enter this vast, brightly lit, beautiful glen. You could call it. And the walls were really thick. We should probably mention.
Yeah, they're
like 10
exceptionally
feet
thick.
So this is a compound.
Yeah, this place is designed for siege.
It is.
And then Stubbins, there's another aerial shot of him running through this place that's populated with elephants, giraffes,
Peacocks. And they're all 50 feet apart.
And they are.
Super spread out.
Because they're all real animals.
Yes.
This was released in 2020. There's social distancing.
Was released in 2020 and they were social distancing. No, it was before that.
It was 2019, wasn't it?
It was...
No, it was
2020, but it was before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So these social distancing animals that he runs through, and he comes to a hedge maze.
He runs through them. They do not exist, not the Stubbins. Blind needs speed.
And he's chasing after Polly, but it's hard to follow her because she's going so fast.
She goes into a maze, like a hedge maze. She goes into a hedge maze. The Z, and he gets lost. He comes out on the other side and he says, "Good doggy."
He goes, "Polly, where are you?" And he sees something rustling around in some shrubs. What is going on over there? What is that? And he sees this large beast.
It's like a white dog with a hat.
What is going on? What is this creature? It's furry? He's never seen anything like it before.
That's a bear.
No, it's a dog. He doesn't know what a bear is. He's a hunter.
He takes 2 steps back. Trap.
Not just any trap.
It's a pit trap. He is now embedded with spikes.
If only. Instead, it's a rope trap, net trap. And he gets whipped up into the air inside of a net. And he's 15 feet in the air. And then we cut to
black.
And it rises up and we're inside
Dolittle Manor.
And we're looking at ink spilled on a piece of paper. Not just any paper, it's the Gorilla Guide to
How to Capture and Eat Boys.
Perhaps.
No, the Gorilla Guide to that.
Right, the Gorilla Guide to How to Capture and Eat Boys.
And then there's a fun
commotion.
Snow White scene.
As everyone wakes up. And
our main character is now being dressed by mice.
What is it that we see? We see a scruffy, overgrown, untrimmed, unkempt
man, yes.
Man.
Little mice are going, wee, dee.
This isn't the John Dolittle, the proper John Dolittle that we were introduced to in the animated sequence at all.
They're pulling his shoes, his slippers upon his feet.
And they're putting a bathrobe upon his body.
The dog is tying the robe.
And he's all prepared for the day. And the mice, after dressing him, sprint off of his arm and jump off of his hand. And then they run to the armory and they equip themselves with headgear. Not just any headgear, it's chess headgear.
For all there is to do in this manor is war.
And chess.
We cut to John Dolittle sitting across from Chi-Chi, the gorilla.
Imagine a gorilla. That's Chi-Chi.
Yeah. Big, strong, fearsome, afraid, fearful.
The mice arrange themselves on the chessboard.
Now, is it really chess? No.
It's 6v6 mice.
So my understanding, I've read the notes, the show notes. They're actually playing Warhammer 40K.
Oh, right, using miniatures.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the miniatures. Warhammer.
Just Warhammer.
1.9K.
It's just Warhammer.
Wasn't the original in medieval? Isn't it?
It's medieval.
So it's probably Warhammer, like Warhammer 1850.
Yeah, right, because it's modern at that point. And Dolittle makes his first move.
The mouse runs to the square that he's pointed to.
And they all looked up at Chi-Chi expectantly.
This is how everyone speaks in this scene. And Chi-Chi, he's in indecision. He doesn't know which piece to move where.
He then turns his giant butt towards the board.
And he's about to sit down on all the mice and crush them, and they're all screaming. Dolittle whistles to put an end to it.
I can't whistle. I can't
do that either. I wish I could do that. Do you know the whistle? The one where you put your fingers in your mouth, or some people can do it without putting their fingers in their mouth. Anyway, it's a really good, cool whistle.
Yeah,
and
we like to watch that scene like 10 times.
It puts a stop to everything, all the commotion.
Chi-Chi turns around. He points to the bishop, and then points to whatever the piece that Dolittle. Anyway, the bishop goes over there and smacks the other
mouse on the head, and the other mouse goes "ow" and falls over, and then he starts standing back up, and the other mouse hits him over the head again with his staff, and that's whenever the mouse falls over dead, and then everyone's cheering and making noises.
Lands on the duck, lands on the chessboard.
He's flapping his wings. The mice are all shouting and yelling, and then there's a tap at the window. The dog Jip runs over and looks out the window. We zoom in on Dolittle.
Dolittle points. No, he points to the window. The peacock runs over
and whoosh, flushes out his tail feathers so that the window is blocked.
And between legs, ready for more orders.
And then we zoom in on Dolittle as he's grunting more instructions and speaking more animal.
It's not good.
I'm the only human here as far as I'm concerned.
There's no getting past the Kalahari snare.
Doc,
it's
ingenious design. You've got yourself a boy.
John, this is an opportunity.
It is a nightmare.
We cut back to Stubbins, who's still in the net.
He's struggling to figure out where he is. Which end is up? He doesn't know.
A very regal girl approaches him.
Whatever are you doing up there? He continues struggling in the net. Tries to look through. Tries to make a hole that he can see through this net, so he can see who's down there. Because they have an umbrella, even though it's not raining. They're using it to block the sun, even though it's not that sunny.
I am from the palace. Whatever are you doing up there?
Oh, who are you?
You may call me Lady Rose.
I'm Stubbins.
Who are you? I'm a Stubbins.
I'm Stubbins. You may call me Stubbins.
You may call me Stubbins.
And this is when Stubbins first meets Lady Rose. Can
you help me down?
It was a faded introduction.
Right, he says that.
He says, "Can you help me down?" And then we cut back to inside the house.
Are we back inside the house? No, we cut to them walking towards
we cut to the house.
Oh, what happens?
And inside of the house at this point is whenever Dolittle tells everyone that they need to hide.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
John, you can't keep avoiding people. They're people.
And then that's whenever Jip says, no, that's whenever the lion cub appears. This is our first meeting with the lion cub. And the lion cub says, "Why are humans bad again?"
Because you let them in, something bad happens, and
you let humans get too close, and then it's not good.
It's not good.
You can't be hurt if you keep humans far away. That's what Jip responds.
John, you can't keep avoiding responsibility.
That's the parrot, Polly. And then, Dolittle says, "Not here.
I do take care of myself," or something, right?
Cockroach, play dead. Possum,
play dead.
Possum, everyone. And then everyone
then dabs on him.
They all fall on the floor on their backs, and they put their hands up in the air.
But the other animals then say, they meme on him, and they're like, bathe? Like, what? It's something about him avoiding baths and...
No, it's Polly says something about how...
Look at the state of you, John!
Yeah, look at the state of you. And he says, I'm fine, or something. And then there's nothing I can't do. No, there's nothing I don't do.
Yeah, there's nothing I don't do.
Or something.
Except bathe. Bathe. Yoshi says bathe like 6 times, except bathe.
No, it's
Bathe?
Jip who says bathe.
Oh, is it? What does Yoshi
Yeah,
say?
because Jip covers his covers his nose with his paw. It says bathe, and then the other animals say different things.
And then the lion cub appears again and says...
Yoshi's not there yet.
No, he is. He has a meme in there, too.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he
because he's
does.
not in the house yet. He's still outside.
Oh, my goodness.
Because
You're
he
right.
doesn't come in to say, we caught the boy in the net yet.
You're
So
right.
He's still outside.
Except...
Chi-Chi says
emotional
something, right?
vulnerability.
Express emotional invulnerability is what the lion cub says.
Except emotional vulnerability.
That's the second lion cub line.
Yeah.
And the final time that we see the lion
And then
cub.
the lion cub disappears from the movie forever.
We don't need them anymore. They've done their part.
We cut back. Oh, Chi-Chi, can you answer the door? You're the only one of us with arms.
I think chess was enough pressure for one day.
No. This is what we've been training for, Chi-Chi.
That's what Dolittle says. Yeah. And then Dolittle says, remember your training.
Remember your
You
mantra.
remember your mantra. I am not a prisoner of fear.
You are not a prisoner of fear.
And Dolittle scoots away on his back while he's scooting along the floor because he was in possum position. So he scoots around the screen.
The Queen has told me all about this place, is Lady Rose
We
at
cut
the
back.
road.
We cut back now outside to
They
Lady
are
Rose and
approaching the
Stubbins.
door.
She got him down from the net.
The Queen has told me all about this place. The Queen loves me.
It's quite extraordinary. You're going to love it here, odd boy. They knock on the door.
I'm ready for anything.
Stubbins says that. And
Then Chi-Chi
Chi-Chi opens the door
and roars.
and roars. And Stubbins goes like this. Ah! And then Chi-Chi goes like this. Ah! And then Stubbins goes like this. Ah! And then Chi-Chi falls over, afraid.
A gorilla answering the door.
Wonderful. Just as the Queen said it would be.
And then she dabs on Stubbins as she scoots past.
And then
Chi-Chi.
Lady Rose sneaks into the door, and the door closes behind Lady
First,
Rose.
he screams at Stubbins again. Chi-Chi does.
Oh, yeah.
Ah! And then
And
shuts
closes
it.
the door.
Wait,
And then
I have
Stubbins
an
goes-
injured squirrel.
And he holds up his little knapsack that has the squirrel in it.
And the squirrel tumbles out of it. He has to pick him up.
Pick him
He's
back
limp.
up again, scoop him back in. Oh, sorry about that.
And sorry about this. And spikes him. And picks him back up because he really wants to save him.
Right. And so then Stubbins has to find an alternate way into the house. But while that's going on, we cut back inside.
Lady Rose has now penetrated the impenetrable.
She's entered the fortress. She's made her way in. And she's walking through the house and looking at all of these fantastic things all around.
There's a train.
There's a steampunk train going across. It's up in the air. It's suspended. Like at a restaurant.
Filled of mice.
And it's full of mice. And
Just
they're
like at a
transporting
restaurant.
cheese. Just like at a restaurant. And there's a
Aren't you
there's
peculiar, posing as a
There's
squid?
capuchin monkeys.
Twig.
There's capuchin monkeys climbing along the bottom of the suspended railway. The
There's a
elevated train.
There's a stick bug dressed as a squid.
Aren't you peculiar, posing as a squid? You stick bug. And then she continues looking at all of these things
This is my
all
hiding
around,
spot.
and she hears a commotion.
Are you okay down there?
It's fine.
Wah. Go on.
I think you should know you've been summoned to Buckingham Palace by the Queen herself.
Ooh, ah. Go on.
You should know she's fallen gravely ill.
What?
That was Dab Dab the Duck afflacking into the picture.
And then go on.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do you understand what I'm saying? Go on. Go on and be gone. I'm not... what does he say?
I'm not seeing... I don't want...
I don't do this anymore.
I don't take any patients anymore, anywhere, anymore.
The birds will show you out.
Lady Rose is shooed down a side passage.
And a bunch of women gather her and show her out.
The birds! You know, in England, women are called birds.
That was great.
Yep.
Yep.
Then, where do we go from here? We stay with Dolittle. And Dolittle walks through his house, and he says, lunchtime, everyone. It's time to eat lunch. And he pulls some levers, and all of these machines in the house, they start whirring and chirping and grinding.
What are
and
we
mashing.
having today, Doc?
Oh, it smells good, Doc.
Today I'm offering a brothy soup.
Smells nice, Doc.
That's dab.
And then Doc goes, thanks very much. And that's the first time.
Thanks very much.
That's the first time we hear him say thanks very much. I want you to remember this. Okay, then he throws his coat over the chair in the dining room, and the mice are using elevators. They're all gathering into the eating room, the dining room, and we suddenly hear
Lady Rose goes stomping in with her
she
big
barges
clobbers.
into the dining room. She throws open the door. The birds fly in with her that were supposed to show her out, and she says,
You gotta help the queen, sir.
and he says, I'm not in the business of helping the queen.
We're closed for business.
And then all of a sudden at the other side of the room, in barges Yoshi carrying a giant apple tree in his mouth. You'll never believe what we caught in the net. He's smashing. It's too big to fit in the door.
How's a good Yoshi?
And he's banging up against the doorway over and over again, trying
And
to
then
get
Lady
this.
Rose goes, What business?
And then that's when Dr. Dolittle goes, treating humans.
We have argued about what this line means. We're just not going to discuss it today.
Yep. It's
Suddenly
the reason let's discuss it. The reason that you have a problem with it is that Dolittle was never in the business of treating humans.
Yeah.
So it makes it a strange thing to talk about.
Yeah, he announces they're closed for business. She asks, What business? Which to me is like a joke, like, because
He's not doing business.
yeah. And then he says treating humans as in that is what they're closed and no longer do, which he never did.
Right, they were treating animals. They were vets.
So let's rewrite the scene real quick. She comes in and is like, You gotta help the queen, John.
Oh, pooah.
Closed for business. What business?
Doctorly business. Treating things. Going out. House visits. House calls.
Poaching. Catching boys and
And
nets.
then what happens is Lady Rose is like, we gotta somehow get the queen here then. If he doesn't do house visits. So she collects.
She collects the queen.
She goes back and gets the queen. She sneaks her out of Buckingham Palace and into the carriage.
Yeah, and holds
Does
her on
a
her
weekend at
shoulders,
Bernie's situation.
Because the queen's dead at this point.
Right.
She drops the queen at Dolittle. He's like, she's dead.
There's nothing I can do for her anymore.
This is our house now.
We have to keep the queen alive until we can sign the fake deed that gives it to us forever. And then
What with France? Why not?
hijinks ensue. Anyway, back to the movie.
Stubbins just bursts through a window. He jumps in.
He smashes through a window. It swings open for him. And
Ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding. Dolittle is ringing a bell beside him. I'm assuming
Gods.
the dinner bell? Perhaps the dinner
Yeah.
bell. It's something the
Or
animals
alarm
eat.
bar.
But he says,
Bar bell.
intruder alert! And then,
Is he yours? Stubbins inquires.
first it's, my house is descending into chaos.
That's right. That's a good line. Is he yours?
I don't own anybody. They come to me. Yoshi came to me with a problem, and I helped him. He's always cold. Yoshi is warming himself up by the fire.
I have an injured squirrel.
How is he injured?
I'm too beautiful. That's hilarious. I shot him.
You are? I can't hear you.
I shot him, but it was an accident.
Ah, an accidental firing upon. Humans never change.
And then Stubbins shoves the squirrel into Dolittle's open mouth.
He whips open his carrying pouch.
His
And
satchel.
we see this squirrel underneath a mitten. Is it a mitten or a hat?
Yeah, it's something like this.
Some kind of woolen knit item that's been laid over him. And he's all bundled up inside of this satchel. And Dolittle looks at it and he sees this
he
injured
slaps
squirrel.
Stubbins with the spoon first.
The ladle.
Take this and this.
Sorry about that.
And then he brings the squirrel to his ear.
So he can listen to
his
it
heart.
to see if it's alive.
I'm too beautiful to die. Dolittle tells the squirrel.
And then Dolittle
And then,
gives him CPR.
well, he kisses the squirrel.
Yes. He kisses him and then he gives him CPR.
No, I think he just kisses him and he's like, well, now we should save him.
You are too beautiful.
Too beautiful. Now he kisses him and he's like, you're right.
Live.
You will not attend to a squirrel while the queen's life hangs in the balance.
Oh, you don't know me very well, do you?
We got a code red, everybody.
Code red, everybody.
They rush into the operating room.
Chi-Chi the gorilla grabs the squirrel out of his hands and
Yoshi.
runs through the house.
We got code red, everybody. Yoshi rips off the covers from the
They
operating
prepping
table.
all of the operating equipment. Jip is working the iron lung.
I haven't done this in a while.
It's like a step machine. Step master. He's working the pumping.
They slap the squirrel down on the table. Just slap him down.
Dab arranges all of the forceps and the medical equipment. They assemble in the chamber. Lady Rose and Stubbins are pushed into the
We zoom
viewing
out.
theater.
We go into Stubbins. He's talking to the animals, and they're talking to him in their own languages.
I want to be an animal doctor, just like Dolittle.
This is what's happening in the room right now. I'm telling you this, Lady Rose.
You may not be able to see.
Let me be your eyes.
This is when that budding romance. She helped him down from a net. Now he's indebted to her and in love with her.
When the queen dies, this all goes away.
What?
The deed was for life. And then Polly's
This
listening
will
in
be
on
designated a nature preserve. It will be in the hands of the treasury.
this. Polly's listening to all this, and then goes back in there, and Dolittle's over him. Forceps. Dab hands him celery. That's a piece
That's
of
a piece of celery.
Forceps.
Here you go.
Still celery.
Forceps?
That's a carrot.
Forceps.
That's a different piece of celery. I'll get it myself.
Chi-Chi, brow, please.
My brow too, when you get a moment.
Oh, sorry.
We need to designate who does which voice because we're both doing all the
It's more
voices.
fun whenever we're saying every single line.
If you ever cast a talking animal movie, you should only cast 2 people and they do all the voices.
And skip between them at random. And give questionable accents so you can't really tell who's saying what.
And they both do different accents differently.
And it's supposed to be a part of a thing where it makes the movie less confusing, but it might make it more confusing.
You can't quite tell if it was on purpose or not. And then he removes the bullet from Kevin.
Yep.
Well, the squirrel. That was a spoiler. I'm sorry.
Kevin the squirrel. Yeah.
It goes back to Lady Rose and Stubbins pointing to a map. Dolittle's been to all these different places that are marked to the map that he's been to.
He's gone all over the world. He's a great explorer.
It says here he's been to here, Lady Rose.
Look at all these maps. I can't read. I'm a peasant boy.
But I am explaining things to you. Oh, he's mansplaining this.
He is
isn't
mansplaining. He is absolutely mansplaining.
Oh, she doesn't need his help. She's educated.
Exactly. Stubbins, you fool. She does admire how he doesn't give up, though.
You illiterate peasant boy.
This working boy. This blue-collar guy. Okay, then...
Duo comes in and he's like, "You touching my stuff, are you?"
Looking at my things. Is the squirrel okay?
No, he's dead.
Kevin is his name. I imagine the operation went really well. I imagine imagine the operation went really... I wasn't really paying attention.
I removed something from him. Who knows what it is?
The anesthesia wears off, it'll be a bit prickly.
Kevin wakes up.
Nuclear bombs, tombstones, gunshots, burning film, Stubbins' face.
Revenge.
Kevin the Squirrel wants revenge on Stubbins, the man.
And then, I don't really know what happens next. I know him and Polly start kissing or arguing or something.
Yeah, Doolittle's relaxing. He's eating a dog biscuit, and he's chomping on it.
This is where there are things
And-
I no longer do. That's the scene.
Yeah.
That's the scene.
We got that out of order.
Well, we put in... This is our version anyway.
Well, I mean, it shows you need to watch it more than 12 times, 12 weeks in a row to get all of it right.
Yeah.
Because we got some things out of order. This is when
So...
So what happens here is Doolittle is saying that he doesn't want to leave the house.
There are things I no longer do. Help humans. Bathe.
Express emotional vulnerability.
So Yoshi does have a line. What does he say?
Yeah, he does have a line. You're right, because Yoshi is in the house at this point.
Talk to chicks.
Talk to humans.
That actually might be it.
Go outside.
Oh, that's what it is.
Leave the house.
Leave the house.
Leave the house. I think it's leave the house.
Yeah. Express emotional invulnerability.
And then now Polly says,
John, the deed goes back to the treasury when the queen dies. The deed was for life.
the queen's life, John, not yours.
That's what I get for letting monkeys read the contract. Elliot, Elsie, you're fired.
And now we see the monkeys and they're eating papers.
They're eating the contract.
And they go, huh?
That's a good monkey
They're
noise.
going,
Pay attention, John. It gets worse.
we'll be thrown out of the house in the middle of hunting season. Which is a line we hate.
We love to hate.
Love to hate.
Hate to love.
The animals all, this throws them into a tizzy.
Chi-Chi is...
He's hyperventilating. Doolittle gives him a paper bag to breathe into. Which, I don't know if paper bags existed in the 1850s.
I
but
mean, he's a
time traveling
yeah.
gorilla, so... Oh, he's an eccentric vegan, so you were going to say.
Yes, the grill is, yeah.
Okay, right.
Fear not, I have an inn at the Regent Park Zoo. Everyone pack your bags!
Doolittle says,
the thing
nobody
pops.
is going anywhere. He doesn't want anybody to leave the house.
There are things I no longer do. He already said that.
No, he says, nobody's going anywhere. And Polly says,
Don't make me count.
and Doolittle says, don't make me count.
1, 3, 2.
No, all right, I'll do it. Everyone cheers. All the animals are excited that he's going to go save the queen.
Not looking like that, you will. Oh, let's clean you up, John.
And then
I'll
he
go
says,
as I am.
and then she says, not looking like that, you won't. And then he says, I'll go as I am.
Not looking like that.
It's just a cycle.
Yeah.
And then
Then Chi-Chi grabs him by the throat and choke slams him against.
into a chair.
And then Yoshi there is, be quiet, John.
Nighty night, Doc.
And then a little mouse pops out of his beard. Oh, hey, guys.
Arthur, how long have you been in there?
I don't know. What year is it? And they pops right back into his beard.
And then they put the anesthesia over Doolittle and they, nighty night, Doc.
Here's the razor.
That's a piece of celery.
Fade to black.
And then now is when we cut to,
Yeah, John's all clean. He does like a spinny reveal.
yeah, and now's when we cut to Stubbins and Lady Rose looking at maps.
Oh, you're right. What did they do?
Now Stubbins mansplaining right now.
These are called boats, Lady Rose.
These are called maps. And this is the places where Dolittle's gone. He's been all over the world.
You see this scribble? That is what I think is a letter.
They've been there before.
But I cannot read. I am but a peasant boy.
Who lives with my uncle's family. They're also Stubbins.
I really wish Dolittle was here. That's Lady Rose. She looks very uncomfortable.
Anyway, now is when Dolittle enters and he talks about Kevin. We're all out of order.
No, he doesn't talk about... He talks about Kevin before this, and then they clean him up, and then...
He talks about Kevin after getting cleaned up.
Oh, weird. Okay, he's all clean, and he's like...
we don't return to Lady Rose and Stubbins until after Dolittle is cleaned up.
You're right. And he's like, okay, I'm all cleaned up. I'm ready to go. And you will go back to whatever burrow you emerged from.
That he says that to Stubbins.
Yeah.
He's pointing at Stubbins.
But
Stubbins and Lady Rose were both smiling before this because they're so excited that they're getting to go to Buckingham Palace with Dolittle and all of his animals.
But I want to go.
No, you can't.
And then Stubbins sneaks out. He sees that the carriage that has no horses or driver has a trunk on the back, and he sneaks into the trunk.
Yes, and he jumps inside of it as a stowaway.
He doesn't open the door. He just jumps inside of it. And there's a Stubbins-sized hole.
And there was nothing in the trunk. It was just an empty trunk.
Oh, whoops.
It's just an empty trunk.
That was the sound of Stubbins jumping on
into the trunk.
Stubbins is in the trunk.
And Lady Rose and Dolittle are leaving the house.
We cut back to Dolittle, who's gathering up his trusty steed. We see Plimpton.
Wait, we forgot to say that Dolittle collected the stick bug and he collected Mimi.
Yeah, he puts
he
Mimi in
around
his
the house.
mouth, and he puts the stick bug in his, in like his back pocket,
and then
in his pants leg. He puts the stick bug in his pants leg.
It's
Remember
actually
that.
his coat sleeve.
No, it's his pants
leg. Right? Yeah.
Remember that. It comes up later.
Yeah, it does. It does. And then
we go to him going outside, and we see an ostrich.
an ostrich emerging from his.
sauntering around. I have a very busy day planned. I'm going to eat some bugs. I'm going to
Prance
do a little
around,
dance.
do a lot of nothing.
Oh no, who's this? He looks
What's
very
that?
happy.
He looks motivated.
And then Dolittle approaches it and says, "Now see here." And then Plimpton goes,
Sorry about this, and sorry about that.
and he dabs
knocks
twice.
knocks his hat off, knocks Doolittle's hat off his head, and then trips him. Doolittle sprawled on the ground. Yoshi the polar bear was sitting in the grass just watching this.
And he approaches Plimpton and he says, "You don't have time for the man who saved your life, bro. We're going to save the queen, bro.
We're going to save the queen, bro.
I'm not your bro."
Ow, beak. Ow.
Claws.
Beak. Ow.
Claws. Beak. Claws. It goes
Oh,
on forever.
you've gained weight. Doolittle climbed onto Plimpton's back. Doolittle climbed on the
on the
Plimpton's
Yoshi's back, and then Yoshi climbs on the Plimpton's back. Yeah. And then we cut to an aerial shot of the carriage going to
Buckingham Palace. It leaves the Doolittle estate.
And then it goes, "Cheer up, angry bird. Kick back and enjoy the ride."
No, first Plimpton goes, "Why are you riding me? There are like 4 horses up there."
"Cheer up, angry birds. Sit back and enjoy the ride."
I am the ride.
And then we get to the palace. And this is a good time for an ad break.
This is so that was like 18 minutes of the movie, 19 minutes of the movie.
Wait,
and,
how?
and we're at 45 minutes.
No, we aren't.
Yeah, we took a long time to describe those first 18 minutes. So
Tune in next time.
yeah, we're gonna leave it there for now. That'll be our first break.
What's important to know is this is probably the point where we pay the most attention.
Is the first 19-ish minutes.
Yeah. As soon as we leave the Buckingham Palace in like 4 weeks, when we get to that point, we will. Chapter 1.
Okay, so this ends chapter 1, which we'll call Dolittle 2020. The adventure begins.
The adventure begins, but not quite.
Well, the adventure begins and then ends and then begins.
The beginning of an end of an adventure.
Because the beginning event, the venture begins in the animated sequence.
There and back again.
Oh, right. Yeah, there and back again. That's what we'll call this one.
A Dolittle adventure.
Yes.
And Frank, what have you been up to this week?
Do I have anything to share?
You watch any movies lately?
Yeah, I watched another Michelle Yeoh movie. It was boring though. That's all I got. How about you?
That was rude of me. I have been watching Doom Patrol. I talked about that a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should watch it. It's really good. If you like the comics, it's close to the comics. The Morrison run. It's pretty good. I've watched a lot of movies, but I don't remember a lot of movies. So that's not a good sign. Oh, we were talking about rips the other day.
Oh no, you found one?
No, I watched R.I.P.D.
Oh, R.I.P.D.
And it was a big rip of a movie.
But there were no rips in the movie.
No, there were rips in that movie.
There were rips in that movie?
There were quite a few rips. There was a lot of rips in that movie.
Really?
Yeah. It was quite a gross, disgusting movie. I hated every second of it.
Are there like dead body fart jokes?
No, so the premise of the movie is after the police die, they become afterlife police.
R.I.P.D., right?
Yeah, and they fight people who are dead who turn to monsters. And one of the monsters is this big. It's a normal looking dude, and then he turns into this big, grotesque, fat dude who farts a lot because that's what fat people do. It's disgusting. I hate it. I hate every second of it.
So there were a lot of rips per minute. That has a high RPM.
No, parts of it have a high RPM.
The movie has a high RPM.
No, the movie does not. There was just like a minute. There was like a minute where there was a ton of rips.
Well, if there's more than like 5 rips, that's a pretty high RPM.
I don't think it hit like 40 RPMs is what I'm saying. It was probably like, it wasn't even like.
Well, that would be ridiculous RPM. A high RPM for a movie is like a 2-hour movie has 5 rips in it. That's high. Right?
Okay, so this was, I'm guessing there was like 10 or 12 rips.
That's a lot. That's a lot of rips. The movie's probably 2 hours. So that's like a rip every 12 minutes. That's like a rip every 12 minutes. That's insane.
Anyway, I much rather watch Dolittle again and again than watch that movie.
I'm on an official rip count. I can't believe you didn't.
Okay, I'll go back to it. Yeah, that's really all I've been up to. I had a rip-roaring adventure.
That's good.
So next week we're gonna do this again. We're gonna pick up where we left off.
I imagine we're going to get from Buckingham Palace to the end of Monteverde. Is my guess.
There's a chance that we just finish it in 45 minutes.
That's true. We could just finish the rest of the movie because it does get speedrunny.
Yeah, it really does.
And we chatted some nonsense today.
Yeah, we did. Frank, where can you find us?
Anywhere. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Speaking in Animals Productions. We also
have a Gmail.
And you can send us an email to drviewlittle@gmail.com. That's dr.viewlittle@gmail.com.
If you have any things we missed today, let us know. You're wrong, but
we definitely got some things out of order, but it's important to remember that
you haven't seen the movie yet.
And we have seen it 12 times this year. So
yeah, have you guys really seen it?
I bet we give a better account than you could.
And then so what's your favorite quote from what we described so far? Yeah, the first like 10 minutes that we got through in 45 minutes.
Sorry about this and sorry about that.
Nice plan, boy, dad. Nice plan, dad. Okay, those
are 2 good quotes.
My name is Finn.
And I'm Frank, and I am out of here. We'll see you next week.
For more. Nice plan, Frank. And this episode is sponsored by Audible.
Where we called an audible and described the movie.
No, it's this new company. It's ODD.
Audible.
Yeah, Audible.
Where they hire people to describe movies to people who don't have time to watch the movie.
But the actual recording is much longer than the movie is.
Well, you have to pad it out for advertisements and things.
I just don't have time to sit down and watch a movie, but I can put the movie on in my car and listen to it.
I don't have time to sit down.
5 45-minute chunks.
5 45-minute chunks, that's more doable because I spend 45 minutes commuting every day. I can't watch a movie while I drive. That's the culture we live in. We're a car culture.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.